All right, you guys, welcome to tonight's team call. We are talking all the things about creating your plan for the 12-week year. Last week, Kate brought you some great value and some ideas and focus to work on creating your vision and what your 1 to 3 year goals are going to be for the next couple of years, right? We talked about um, really allowing yourself that time to brain dump and think of all the things that you want to work towards in the areas of life that you want to expand. So, and she touched a little bit about creating that plan to help you start taking those steps towards your vision, right? So, this week we're diving more into creating the plan. So many of us go into the new year with this fresh slate mentality. And I have said this in a couple things recently. I love the new year because it does bring that new energy and that fresh start. And you kind of feel like you have this clean slate. But the new year is only going to be different if you do something different. January 1st is another freaking day. January 2nd is going to be a Monday this coming year. Yes, it's a fresh slate, you guys, but it's only a fresh slate if you implement something different, right? And so many of us go into the new year and say, oh, by December 31st of 2023, I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z. We say we want it, but maybe don't get committed to it. But when we say we want it by the end of the year, it leaves so much room for inaction, right? It allows a lot of wiggle room for procrastination, for pushing it off to the next day, to the next week, to the next month. It's just, I'm just too busy. It's just too crazy of a season. I'm just too tired. You guys, the reality is, if you really want to create that change, you have to get committed to your goals and you have to get committed to implementing a plan. Okay. So we've been talking about this book, The 12-Week Year, a lot, right? And this is the book that we're basing this whole month off, right? All of the calls this month are based on that. Kate started with the first portion of the vision. So tonight I have a presentation for you because then that keeps me on track. And I personally am a visual learner, and I feel like this um is going to be a good thing to share. Well, I have to remember how to. I don't know why I struggle with. There we go. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? Yep. Okay. I'm going to see if I can put this in presentation mode and see if you guys can still see it. Can you still see that? Yep. Okay, cool. So the 12-week year, creating your plan. Establishing your 12-week goals. So the idea of the 12-week year is that we are condensing goals down into increments of 12 weeks. That way, we're not giving ourselves from January 1st to December 31st. We are kind of shrinking our time to create a sense of urgency, to create focus, and it allows us to take small, consistent steps forward, okay, each day. And if something isn't working, we can evaluate. But here's the thing, we have to implement and take action to know if the plan that we've put in place is going to be effective and help us get to our goals, right? Okay, so this is establishing your 12-week goals. The 12-week goal is to bridge between your vision and your 12-week goal. So your 12-week goal should be a realistic, but also a stretch for you. So it's a realistic goal. It's doable. Like we wouldn't say I'm going to be 5-star in 12 weeks. It's just like insane. And if you're an emerald coach, for you to say that you're going to be 2-star or 3-star in 12 weeks, it's a bit outside of the spectrum. I'm not going to say it's impossible because I'm not going to say anything's impossible. But the idea is that we want to set ourselves up for success and we want to have a little bit of a push outside that comfort zone, but it needs to be attainable. Okay. So that way you feel like you're making that progress towards your goals. What are you committed to working towards in the first 12 weeks of the year? So last week we talked about vision. I hope that you have identified 1 to 3 goals. Remember, Kate gave you that call to action of identifying 1 to 3 goals. No more than 3, you guys. No more than 3 that are a specific focus for the first 12 weeks of the year. And this isn't and shouldn't be just business oriented, right? We're talking about our lifestyle. What are the areas that we want to create more focus? So, what are you committed? Not what you want. We're changing our verbiage, right? What are we committed to working towards and achieving? So I want you to think about that. And if you haven't done the vision portion that Kate talked about, and you're really not sure yet, that's okay. We're going to work through this and I'm going to teach you how to create your plan. And then what you can do is you can go back and do your vision portion and listen to Kate's call from last week and then just implement this week's call. Okay. So what are you committed to working towards? And why is your 12-week goal important? What will be different when you hit the goal? And it's important to identify those. Why are you connected to those goals? What does that look like and mean for you? Okay. Because we all know that life continues to move forward. There are going to be seasons. It is hard. There are going to be days you don't want to show up. There are going to be days you don't want to get out of bed and get up early to take the action and work towards your goals. There are going to be times that it's just hard, right? But there's a reason you're choosing this goal and to get committed to it. So why? What is going to be different for you? And then I want you to remember that a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. Remember, we're letting go of that idea of perfectionism and that we're going to check all the boxes all the time. That's not the reality. For those of you girls who are in the push group with us, I got minimal invites out last week, but I did a lot of behind the scenes work that needed to be done and that I'm starting to incorporate into my daily routine. So, did it look different? Yes. Was it a fail? No. Right? So we have to learn to look at all of those things and take note of them, take inventory of where we're really spending our time. Okay. So writing your 12-week plan, you're going to create your goal. And then under your goal, remember, we're just doing 1 to 3 goals. You're going to have tactics. And you shouldn't have no more than 5 really specific tactics, okay? And then over here on the right side, you're going to say when they're due. Are they daily, weekly, or monthly? Okay? And sometimes it's just a one-time thing. That specific goal just needs to be done once, right? So, what actions will help you close the gap between your results today and your 12-week goal? What are the high priority items to help you close the gap? So here you want to brainstorm. Maybe you just have a scrap piece of paper and you write down all the things, but what are like the needle moving activities that are going to help you get there? You don't necessarily need to write out like for our business if you're talking about a business goal, and I'll give you an example of mine so you can kind of see. I didn't write out all the things we do every day as a coach. That list is very long, right? Because you're not doing necessarily all of them every single day, and that's not necessarily directly attached to the specific goal. You want to really be clear and specific on what actions you need to take for that specific goal. Okay. What is the most important? How often do we need to do it? And we don't need to do everything, just what's most important, at least on your plan of action. Okay. And then you're going to write the tasks in sentence form, starting with a verb that creates action, right? Not just I am, because I am or I will. You want to do something like, I have a couple examples. I can't think right now because my brain is shutting down. I will show you in the next slide with my samples. But you want to start it with a verb, and then you want to identify what could be a struggle And how do you overcome that struggle? So here I want you to think about maybe what are some things that have been holding you back already if you've tried to work towards that said goal? What are some challenges that you know that you're going to face? And you guys, if you have a hard time following through and showing up for yourself and for your goals, you need to be very honest with yourself here. Okay? It's it's there's no shame in that. But there's shame when we just keep pushing it away. When we can identify, look, I haven't followed through myself. Own it. Own it and move forward. Don't let that consume you. The longer you say, I just don't know. Figure it out. Okay? Figure it out. I'm reading The Radical Confidence by Lisa, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. And you guys, it is so good. She's like, I didn't know how to do anything, but I'm always willing to learn. Figure it out. Okay. And I want you to think about, how do I overcome that? I want you to think about, if you've struggled with this, let's use showing up for yourself and actually following through with taking action as an example. If you have struggled with this personally, if your best friend or a client or a coach of yours came to you and said, Kate, I've been dealing with this. I don't know how to get myself over it. How would you coach her through it? How would you coach somebody else through the struggle that you currently face? And that's how you need to coach yourself through it. That's taking ownership of the struggle and coaching yourself through it. You guys, we are all adults here. We have to learn to take ownership for our action and inaction. Okay? Nobody's here telling Kate to show up or holding my hand to show up and make sure that these team calls are taken care of and that the team calendar is taken care of and that all the things happen every month. It's because I take ownership and I have that accountability and discipline, right? And if you're working towards creating a successful business, you have to learn to take ownership, okay? And just evaluate what's working and where can we grow and improve, okay? So I am going to, I think, see if I can, I need to take this out of presentation mode. I don't know how to do that. Maybe if I do this, I'll figure it out. So I'm going to share my plan with you guys, okay? So we're talking about having the 12-week goals. Hopefully, like I've already said, you've picked out your 1 to 3 goals. So I picked out a business, a health, and a family goal for myself. And I worked through all of it for you. So my business goal is to grow Team Living Healthy and Fit to 3-star diamond with 4 new Emerald coaches in the first 12 weeks of the year. I am committed to helping our team grow in 2023 and be more intentional about sharing the coaching opportunity. My struggle will likely be self-doubt and feeling like what I am saying is mundane or repetitive, which then means I stop saying it because I feel like I'm just repeating myself, right? Anybody else relate when they're talking about things and sharing their story? I can work through this by taking control of my thoughts, using the thought model that we've taught you guys recently, and continuing to grow through personal development. Okay. So growing the team to 3-star diamond with 4 new Emerald coaches. This means that I am talking about coaching in a post or stories, and it's happening daily. Okay. Doesn't have to be in both daily, it's one or the other. Create a coach call to action, one in my stories and one in post form weekly. So that means I'm doing 2 coach call to actions every week. Expand and grow through 1 coaching session per week. So I personally have started implementing where I'm doing 1 to 2 hours of self-coaching every week to help me keep growing as a leader and to help teach you girls what I'm learning through these coach sessions. I'm either doing this through Rachel Bodie, Brendon Burchard's Growth Day, or with Kristen Voss. Okay. Another action or tactic is to work closely with the willing coaches who are leaning in and following through. This will be through daily connection. I will invite 40 women to coaching each monthly. That makes me want to puke. I'm just being totally honest, but it's a stretch and the reality of what I need to show up and do and get out of my own freaking way. And I will help or lead to what are coaching events each month. Okay. Simple. I have them starting with a verb, right? I have the action of what is going to happen, and I have them broken down to daily, weekly, or monthly. Very clear. There's really no wiggle room or gray area there, right? It is what it is. Does that make sense so far? We good? We on the same page? Okay. So for my health, create more focus and intention around nutrition, complete 75 hard with sure thing. So my goal is to dial back in, create more energy, lean out 10 to 12 pounds. Challenges could be time to plan and prep. Traveling with hockey, we have 3 more tournaments during that time frame, and we'll be staying in hotels for 2 to 3 nights, and that stresses me out just thinking about it, but it's gonna be fine. I will plan ahead for the weekends that are too busy, and I will have easy throw together meals to make sure that if I don't have time to prep, I can very easily throw things together. Okay. So creating more focus and intention around nutrition, complete 75 hard with sure thing. 2 workouts per day, 45 minutes with BOD and 45-minute walk outside. That's happening daily. Track my nutrition in the app daily, committing to that. Drink a gallon of water per day, daily. Meal prep or meal plan and prep weekly, usually Sunday, but plan ahead if weekends are going to be busy. So that is a weekly item. And then progress photos and measurements weekly, adjust as needed. So the adjust as needed to me is I will adjust my nutrition accordingly if I need to up or drop down in a calorie bracket as I'm going through that new program and just see how I feel. So that is weekly. And then my last one is family. I'm taking time to be an active and present mom and wife. My goal is to be connected and present. A challenge can be schedule, time, and being tired on certain days of the week. So, my goals or tactics are going to be have dinner as a family at the table 5 nights a week. That's weekly. Write a note for each of the boys in their lunches at least once a week. Have a date night, just the 2 of us once a month. Have a family game night twice a month. And say, I love you and hugs every day. Simple, right? Again, leading with the verb, very clear cut, simple things. But, and I mean, most of these things in this one we do, but like this one, it's not that it's a huge stretch, but it's something that I'm going to have to add into my daily routine that's different now, right? We don't always get a date night, especially the 7.5 months of hockey season, but we're going to make that a priority. And having family game night, something we enjoy doing, but doesn't always happen. So I'm going to be purposeful. What I don't know what the word is. I can't think of what the word is I want, but I'm going to be intentional and use my calendar and plan those days out, right? So you guys can see that it's all broken down. They all lead with a verb or action item. I've already thought of ahead of what could potentially be a struggle or a hurdle and worked through that. So I can come back to this and tell myself, I can coach myself through it, right? Okay. So without a well-written plan, you are setting yourself up for poor execution. You guys, 9 times out of 10, it's not that we can't be consistent. We're consistent with a lot of things in life. You shower probably every day, right? You brush your teeth at least once a day, right? You eat every day. You have a routine when you get up in the morning. You just have to break the cycle and the pattern that you have been practicing that isn't leading you to your goals. We just have to change something. We have to make a shift. But it's not that you can't follow through and that the plan isn't perfect. It's just we haven't executed consistently for long enough of a time to allow ourselves to see that growth and that progress. Okay. So don't have to have a perfect plan like the quote said at the beginning. Have a good plan. Start make adjustments as needed. And the beauty of this is every 12 weeks, we're going to reevaluate. We're going to see what's working and what's not. So here are some common pitfalls that can hold you up or be a challenge when you're implementing a new plan. Your 12-week plan does not align with your long-term vision. So if it's not something that you really truly want, that's why we really wanted you guys to take time over the last week to think about your vision. Where is the path that you want to go and that you're dreaming of, and you see yourself in 1, 2, 3, 5 years? Where are you going? You have to be clear about that. Okay. Number 2 is you aren't staying focused. So that's when we lean into the group, we check in, even if we're not executing perfectly and we're not checking off all the things. Are we showing up and doing our best? Are we maybe in a challenging season? Do we see a challenging season coming ahead and say, hey, we raise a hand. Hey, I just need to let you know I'm here and I'm working through some stuff, but I'm still committed to my goals. Okay. Lean into this team, stay focused, have your plan in front of you. Number 3, you don't make the tough choices. So this is where we're setting our boundaries. Remember, I was talking about being a quitter on a team call. I think it was last week. If it's no longer serving you, quit it, stop it, say no. If there are things around the house or things that you can delegate and ask for help, do that to free up your time so that you can work on the goals that you have set for yourself. Okay. Number 4, you don't keep it simple. So let's not overcomplicate it. Again, keep that goal realistic, keep the tactics realistic. Should they stretch you? Yes. Should they push you? Yes. But should they be super stressful and so overwhelming that then you're paralyzed and don't show up at all? No, because that's not serving you, right? The point is to push us outside of our comfort zone, and keep like you saw with my goals, the breakdowns, simple to-dos that are doable each day for me. So you have to do that for you. And then you don't make it meaningful. So remember in the beginning when I said, why do you want this goal? And what will be different once you achieve it? Okay. So make that connection. All right. What is it going to mean for you? How is it going to feel? What is life going to be like? What is going to be different? And make that emotional connection with them. Okay. I think that's the last slide, you guys. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or put them in the chat. So this week, so now what you're going to do is your call to action is to make sure you have your vision, right? You have clarity around your vision. And now you're going to start working on your 12-week goals. What are the 1 to 3 goals that you're going to really focus on? And then creating your plan. And then we're going to share our goals. Okay. Because one of the things is that to lean into a group. One of the sections in the book really talks about sharing it with a peer group so that way you have that accountability. Not that we can hold you accountable, but it's putting it out there to your peers, right? So sharing that with each other. And then next week we will talk about more of the mindset and the implementing your plan and focus moving forward once you have your plan. Like, what's that next step? Okay. Do we have any questions or thoughts? Kate, do you have anything to add?
No, not necessarily to add, just do the call to action, guys. It's my thing. Like this isn't meant to come off like tough love or anything like that, but at the end of the day, what I'm telling you guys is the same thing that Corey tells herself, that I tell myself. Like, you just have to do the fucking thing. We can talk and and dream and plan and do all the things all day long. But if we don't actually plan and then put that plan into motion and add action to that plan, nothing is going to happen. So that's my thing, is like, this was an amazing call and Corey brought so much value to it. So it would be awesome to like be hearing back on everybody's 12-week plans, sometime in the next like week or two when you guys have time to go through that. So that's my
Yeah.
thing.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. And you guys are here. And if you're listening to the playback of this, because I know some of the girls had things going on tonight. If you're listening to the playback, don't just be here. Like, you're taking the time to be here and show up for the team call. Do yourself a favor and do the freaking action. Like, what's the point of just showing up each week if you're not taking action? You're just further procrastinating and setting yourself up for more disappointment and frustration. Make being here count. Make carving this time out each week, and the time that you're going to take, it's going to take you time. I'm not lying to you. This is going to take you time. Following through with Kate's call is going to take you time. Okay? But if you don't do it, you're going to be shooting from the hip in the new year again. And where has that gotten you? Take the time, allow yourself that space to grow, and give yourself the actions and get committed to your goals. That's the only way it's going to happen, you guys. It's like saying, I want to lose weight, and your clients come to you. Do the fucking workouts and follow the plan, the nutrition plan, right? Oh, I bought BOD and now I've lost 30 pounds. No, you have to push play and you have to follow the nutrition plan. This is the same thing. You have to show up for yourself. And it starts here. So you have focus. Kate shared, actually, this is a really good example. You shared in the wellness group today that you should just sit down and make a to-do list. You guys, it sounds silly, but like, I am like the list queen because it takes the pressure off of my brain trying to remember everything. Little things are going to free up so much space in your mind and so much energy. It's unreal, but you have to take the time to do those small little things each day, or like now, to set yourself up to have that freedom and space in the new year. Okay.
Well, and I think too, everybody, just like a perspective on all of this, you guys, everybody remembers like what your first workout felt like, right? Like, think back to when you just started working out and you were sore as can be, and like that first week, like you're just questioning whether you can do it, and it's so hard and it's so challenging. This business kind of feels like that a little bit because of the learning curve, because you're putting yourself into situations that you aren't comfortable with. Like, it does feel hard at first, creating the visions, like doing all this. Like, this is not, it's simple work, but it's not easy work, but it gets easier. Like, just like how your workouts do, like all of you guys crushing your workouts, and the things that you're able to do easily that before you couldn't even attempt, and like the consistency that you build and all of that. This business is the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to give yourself enough time to get there, really. So
Yeah. Perfect. I think that's a good note to end on.
right.
I will give you guys a heads up. There's going to be a change. We haven't totally narrowed it down. I think we're pretty sure, but
We're
there's going to
gonna
be
do it.
there's going to be
We're
a
doing
really
it.
big shift in the new year with team calls. So I'm Kate and I need to talk one more time just to nail it down. But we had a conversation after we led that coaching call on Friday, and you guys, that was the funnest way we've ever done it. So we're for sure doing it that way, at least once a month, if not for both calls each month, because the energy was really, really good. But that sparked some thoughts for our team calls. So stay tuned for that. We're going to nail that down for sure. And then we'll bring that information to you. Don't worry, they're not going away or anything. They'll still happen weekly. It's just there's going to be a change with what time and what day. I think that's it. Sure Thing is out for coaches. You guys should all know that. And it launches next Tuesday for customers. I personally, not sure if I'm starting it on 1/2 or 1/9, but either the first or second Monday. So I think that's it. Yeah, cool.
Good.
All right, my friends. Well, thank you all for being on. I would love if you guys have questions while you're working through your goals or you need some help and clarity, let us know. I highly recommend, if you don't already have it, I've said it a billion times. Yes, those are all my notes. Get this book for sure, because he gives some great mindset and perspective in the first half. And then the second half is literally walking you through step by step how to implement this plan. Yep, you're welcome, Julie. All right, you guys. Love you all. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the group throughout the week. Bye.